Hey, hey, peeps, welcome in. It's me, Pigeon Wishes, your resident Pigeon Fae from the UK. And I hope everyone had an okay April Fools. I hope everyone had an okay April Fools and it wasn't too bad today. Because I fucking hate April Fools. I hate April Fools. I hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, I saw Junie's having difficulties. I feel so bad. Oof. That's why I don't do 3D models. That's why I don't do 3D models, because I know for a fact that would be me. That would be me. Also, I'm incredibly tempted to use my Homestuck model today, actually. You know what, fuck it. You know what, fuck it. We're gonna use the Homestuck model. We're gonna do this today. Fuck it, we're doing this today. We're doing this today because I think it's more fun. Snowman, you can live down here. Actually, maybe more in this corner. I'm figuring out where to put the boy. I might just have to get rid of the boy today. For the detective hat. What colour? Is there a green? Is that the correct kind of green? Yeah, that's a pretty close green. That's a pretty close green. Hi Bella. Hi Mort. I didn't say hi to people today. Hi. This isn't a new model. This is an old model. But you know what? It's April Fools, and even though I don't like April Fools, I feel like we should do something. I feel like we should do at least something. And it doesn't hurt to use the Homestuck model Junie made me. It doesn't hurt to use the Homestuck model Junie made me. Who am I and what did I did with Pigeon? I am Pigeon. Pigeon Wishes. I'm Pigeon Wishes. You all know me. I'm Pigeon Wishes. Smiles. Nothing has changed. Nothing is different. Everything is the same. Is the clown much? Is the clown nose too much? I think the clown nose is fine. But is it too much? We're going for a standard here. We're going for a particular level of funny. And I don't know if the clown nose takes it over. I'm in a silly mood. If you couldn't tell already, based on my everything, I'm in a silly mood. Okay, the clown nose is the correct level of comedy. I'm glad. I'm glad it's the correct level of comedy. Also, that's a really cute tradition, actually, the, like, sticking fish to people. That's because that's, like, not a harmful prank. My only problem is that most pranks for April Fools aren't funny. No, I think it's load, isn't it? March 25th. Okay. Gaming. Hashtag gaming. Hashtag gaming. That is cute. It is cute that she drew all the fish by hand. See, that's when April Fool's pranks are fine. Is when people actually put effort into them. And it's not just like being mean. Because that's my trouble with April Fools nowadays, is that most April Fool's jokes are just people being mean. And I don't think being mean is funny. Hashtag gaming dynasty. Correct and real. Okay, we're playing. I haven't actually done my intro. Hi everyone, I'm Pigeon Wishes, your resident Pigeon Fae from the UK, and today we're doing More Methods, the detective game. And we're not doing April Fools. That's my thing, is that I'm not doing April Fools. Sorry, I had a message I had to check. Oof. I'm sorry work is being a butt, Mort. I will attempt to be chill today. I will attempt to be chill today. I can't remember where we left off, actually. So this might take me a while to remember where we left off in this game. The fools. Didn't they realise? We could hear everything that was broadcast over their headsets. Ah yes, they are fools indeed. They're called Tads. Yes. They're so close to contact too. Need to get their focus off us and back onto the competition. Okay, we figured out how they did it. Raoul used their sensitive hearing to pinpoint where the voices were coming from, but she found the voice master instead. They're all cheating. To protect Red July. Silly of them. Very silly. Why would we eliminate the best detective in the contest just because she has a headache? Well, we definitely do that for low-ranking detective, but Red July? No, mate, no way. They think they're so clever. It amuses me. They didn't get suspicious when we didn't fix the lights. Some detectives they are. Okay, well, what do we do? Give him a slap on the wrist? Kick him out of the contest? They're all great detectives. We'd be the ones losing something. Think we should give them what they want? They want to talk to us? Fine. Let them. Then we'll continue on as planned. No. What do you disagree about, Kane? I agree with you 60%. But I don't think we should let them continue with their Todd group conspiring against us. They managed to figure out where their secret microphones are. Someday they might find where their secret microphones are hidden. Or the secret cameras. Then what? We're stuck in this room. We can't satisfactorily answer their questions. They'll find us eventually. The only thing that will work is to infiltrate their group. I like that idea. They'll get to meet one of us, but they won't even realise it. I like this idea as well. But you know what this means, right? We all blanched. We have to ask the fifth. Yeah. Trat. I was hoping it would be something else. Well, draw straws. The loser has to talk to him. I pretended to grab some straws. Oh look, it's Melly again. He hadn't even drawn a straw. Or even a pretend one. Whenever there was something difficult to be done, we always made Melly do it. Huh, you think once or twice it would be me, but it's always Melly. Oh well. Huh, what? When we were asleep we drew straws. You have to talk to the fifth. We're sending you in to spy on detectives. How do you do all that? We'll figure it out as we go. I'm sure there's got to be a best way. Don't overthink it, Melly. Just go and ask him. Whatever. Guess I'll do it, I guess. Even though you're obviously lying about the straws. The straws never lie, Melly. They are extremely truthful. We trust in the straws. She sighed. At least I don't have to breathe in the still air anymore. Maybe I'll finally be more awake. Kinda doubt it. Eat a horse, Greg. That's such an insult. Melly, I love that. I love that insult. Eat a horse. That one's good. She glided to the door. What am I doing again? Infiltrate the detective group Tads. Keep him from cheating again. So, I'm gonna pose as a detective? Yeah. Cool. I'll need an outfit though. Just grab a trench coat from the hotel rack. There's like a million of them. Aye, aye, Captain. She left. Wonder how many times we'll have to be able to do that before she catches on. Fuck, she knows. She just lets us get away with it because we're enormous bullies. Oh, right. I wish I'd had the foresight to realise our improvisational approach was going to lead to massive problems. That word is hard. I don't like that word. Chat, new bad word. Chat, we've discovered a new bad word for pigeon specifically. Improvisational is a bad word. That word is banned. Bad, bad, evil word, banned forever. Never allowed to be said again. But I'm often lacking such profound insights. So I won't be too hard on myself. Old speak, bad, 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 naughty, bad, don't like. Bad, don't like. Chapter 21. The Careful Splice. Game Master Melly is sent to speak with the mysterious 5th Game Master to request that she be sent into the contest to prevent Tads from finding the Game Masters. Yeah, no, I don't think I could even spell improvisational either. Because improv, sure. Improvising, sure. It's something about the extra part ended to the end there that sounds wrong and bad. Okay, new person. Okay, new person. Devising a voice based on vibes alone. Devising a voice based on his vibe. Or her vibe? No, his vibe. I think it's a him. Belladonna, it sounds familiar. If I'm going to be completely honest, I think there's a similar thing that happens in Homestuck that's preventing me from understanding the reference. Because there's a similar joke. Oh, it's a 1984 reference. Okay. That probably makes sense, because Homestuck does like to reference 1984. And I feel like I should have got that, with all the 1984 stuff going on right now. And the fact that I read it not long ago. This music. Actually, okay. Go off. Go off, King. You have a sick-ass theme song. Go off, King. You have a sick-ass theme song. What voice do I want to give you? Telegrams. Move me a mile. Tuning away. Woman clue. This was the 5th. He was usually pretty quiet in his little room. I mean, it wasn't a closet, but it was almost that size. Radios surrounded him on all sides. They were set to channels playing only static. The 5th had a weird way of communicating. The other Game Masters always sent me because they said I understood him the most, but they just liked to pick on me. They'd drawn so many moustaches on my face while I was sleeping that my upper lip had a permanent dark smear on it. It was boring in the office, so everyone did their best to be entertaining. Yeah, you said not to come in a while ago. We haven't disturbed you till now. As for why I've come here, I don't even know. As it often did, my brain started to wander into tangents as I talked every word in my sentence, reminding me of a million other sentences like it. It was my method, and it was painfully useful. Or usefully painful. Pain to use, that is. Cheering pirates heard ducks inside. I tried to untangle what he meant. I needed to hurry it up. Okay, no. That voice that I'm trying to do for him doesn't work. I thought he was going to be more of a Gundam from Danganronpa, but he's not. I know a different voice. I understand him better. I now have a voice. Okay. Usefully painful. He was obsessed with crosswords and puzzles and all types of games. It was fitting. Besides being the 5th Game Master, he was also the original Game Master. The creator of the contest. That's why we put up with him. The detectives... what was a good way to explain that the detectives were cheating? Since I was good at anagrams, I decided to just go with it. Oh, hi! Welcome in, Calamity. Yes, I am homestuck. It is April Fool's and I am homestuck. Set the deceiving act out of sorts. He seemed happy someone had given him a clue to solve. Cheating detectives? You got it, buddy. So to what end? Uh-oh, he dropped the cryptic clues. Another a million other wordplay games he could throw my way. They're trying to speak with the Game Masters. Well, I'll stop crying in a closet and make myself useful, I guess. There's only 5 of us, with one brain between, and I've selfishly kept it for myself. Oh, snap. I could never tell when he was being sarcastic or serious. So I chose to never take him seriously. You know, I invented this competition. That means I'm the cruelest person alive. You're terrible and mean. I'm the worst. And ugly. Everyone hates me. We make fun of you all the time. Even when I'm in the room. Because you're just that despicable. This was the desperation contest. Whoever was the last to say something mean about him could talk with him further. You had to top every self-depreciating remark he made to win. I'm the epitome of morons. You're the perfect model. The stupidity of the other models wore off, but you were so stupid you were beyond stupid. You became... stupidicious. Sometimes topping him meant creating a new word. Also, I love these two actually. I love his fucking bullshit. His bullshit where everything has to be a fucking word game is kind of good, actually. Between him and our little clown boy, I think they're like might be my favorite characters, just because they're also incredibly annoying. You look pleased with that. Rely on your information. Kindly now. In fact, extracts. But, whenever you said something that could be acronym to knife, it meant I had to say whatever I needed to say in knife similes. This was another good reason nobody wanted to talk to the 5th. Greg, Clark, and Kane deserved at least 2 marker moustaches for this. And mutton chops. And goatees. I greeter Henny betrayed us like a backstabber stabs back with a knife. She was working with the top-tier detectives like a knife works with world-class chefs. It was a stretch, but it would do. They found their way to the Voice Master like a knife misses the core of the apple. We must stop them like a knife stops someone's heart if you stab them with one. Now it sounded like I wanted to stab the detectives with a knife. Great! It's obvious what we'll do. Tell with Grime loses cash, gains prime termites 1 star. This clue didn't seem like it had an anagram. I had no idea what he meant. Hotel with Grime loses cash, gains prime termites 1 star. I don't know what that means. Don't maybe shout it, I'll have to make him lit a clue. No, don't shout it. Oh, well, the other game masters told me the best way would be for me to spy on the detectives directly. Go undercover in the contest and steer them away from cheating and trying to find the game master. Yes, that's what I was saying. Well, sorry, I can solve your clue in 5 seconds. Stone autopsies get ruined. The fifth shot me a dark look.
Clarinet cop trips.
You're doing it again, Bob. The easiest way to provoke him into acting normal was to call him names. Really common names. They're fucking crazy. Him and Clown Boy are fucking insane. I love them. To annoy him, all you have to do is just call him normal people names.
I'm not Bob, I'm Converter, strangest name in the galaxy.
Nope, your name is Bob now. Plain old Bob. Billions of Bobs out there.
Fine, I'll shut up if you will.
Can't shut up yet, Bob. We need a plan of action.
It's quite simple. We'll splice you into the competition. This will involve displacing another detective. That's fine. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about a thing. Go among them and pull them apart. Invert their magnets. Charge them negatively. If you'll excuse me, we must get back to writing this crossword. Every clue uses the word hate, but every answer is something associated with love.
Don't change the subject. No, sadly that doesn't work with Paige. Because I don't mind. See, I'm too chill for the just calling me normal people names thing to work on me. Because I get called pig. Or like, dumbass. Or various other names all the time. I do appreciate the Jane, though. Mort is good. Mort is too good a name to change Mort's name. And also, Mort is already me shortening Mort's name. Like how I shorten your name to Belladonna, or Bella. Jane was a good reference, though. I do appreciate the fact that Jane is also a name in a character from Homestuck. Probably not done intentionally, because that is also just a very common name. But Jane is also a Homestuck name. Although Rachel from Friends, not as good a reference. How am I supposed to convince them? I'm a detective. It's already the second stage. They all know each other.
Then change the subject back. I was done with that one. I put it aside. Goodbye.
He sat back down and wrote, "I really hate this holiday," along with other assorted clues to his crossword in a notebook. I left the room to prepare for the plan, feeling more tired, if that was even possible. Greg was right. An old detective coat was really easy to find. The other game masters waiting for me back at our makeshift office. We've been trying for the Wastepaper World Cup. Price is literally a cup. There's only one in the office, and if you win, you don't have to share. Greg loved boring office games. What's the word on the fifth? Can't you tell from my shitty, tiny new detective studs? He agrees with the strategy. I'm to splice myself into the competition and break apart the 10th Detective Brigade, or whatever it is. I knew the fifth would agree. Such an exciting idea. Does this mean I can swap desks with someone? Someone covered my desk in cats. Does anyone know who did that, by the way? Don't call him the fifth. It glamorizes him. Call him Game Master Conver. Everyone winced. And stop doing that. Let's discuss the splice. Cool, we're calling it the splice now. We'll put you in the questioning room with the cheating detectives. That'll give you a good reason to not have been in the competition before. Then you'll help them escape. Hopefully they'll accept you into their inner circle. Great. Do you need cat food? Did you do this? He indicated to the cats. I was meeting Conver. He gave me a hurried look, then motioned for the others to gather around. He talked for about an hour, discussing different strategies. Finally, it was time for me to leave. The Game Master office was in the hotel's basement, so I had to climb up the stairs and go through a network of hallways that were designed to make whoever attempted to walk through them extremely disoriented. Finally, I arrived. Whose jacket did she take as well? Because I recognise her jacket. Right? Because I swear, like, whose jacket is she just nicked? Because I 100% recognise her jacket. And I think that's going to be an important thing. Like how I realised that Red July was actually her partner, not her, earlier. And that ended up being a thing. Belladonna, we're not going to pretend that Twilight doesn't exist. Everyone knows about hit movie series written by a Mormon, Twilight. I'll fully admit that I liked Twilight when it first came out. I was when did it come out? I'm looking this up now. When did Twilight come up? No, Red July's jacket is red. She looks like Carmen Sandiego. The jacket we've got on now has a blue and a red square buttons. And I recognise it from one of the other detectives from earlier in the game, but I don't know who. Twilight, the vampire series. The one with Remesme, the very creepy baby in the last movie. The fucked up CGI baby. Fucked up CGI vampire toddler. I'm looking up when Twilight came out because I need to know how old I was when it first came out. You know what? That's fair. Vampire Diaries was okay. It was okay. It was okay. I don't really like live action TV shows. It's still better than Teen Wolf, which came out at a similar time trying to capitalise off Vampire Diaries, but was shit. Teen Wolf was shit. Right. Twilight came out in 2008. I liked Twilight when it first came out, the movie, I mean. So I would have been 7 when I watched the first Twilight film. That's weird to think about. You'll know what you've got to know what Twilight is if you like vampires, because it's the one where the vampires are glittery instead of burning in the sun. Oh, okay, you're a baby. That's why you don't know what Twilight is. You are in fact an infant. I'm joking, by the way. I don't mean that meanly. It just feels weird that people born in 2008 are like almost adults now. That's weird to think about, because I've got a brother who was born in 2008. That's weird. Weird to think about. Okay, having a sippy. Yeah! Be responsible. Be responsible. In a month I'm 25. So I'll be... I can't remember why 25 is an important birthday. I guess it's the last time you're considered a young adult. I guess 25 is the last time you're considered a young adult. I know 25 is important, or used to be important. Yeah, a quarter of a century, I guess that's why. Weird. Weird that time has gone so quickly. It doesn't feel correct. Finally, I arrived. Detective 778, Nell, Slakes, and Asper looked towards me as I entered. They were seated at a long table in a narrow room that we called the questioning room. You're the interrogator? Nell was a seemingly normal detective who the other game masters adored to place bets on. But she couldn't be that normal. She'd put up with 778 for 6 rounds of the contest. Very true, Carl. Very true. Now, I'm on an interrogate, just like you. You're a detective? Haven't seen the competition before. That's because I've been cooped up in the questioning room since the stage started. I was caught cheating. Caught cheating? So are we. How do you do it? I don't like to talk about it. It's pretty crazy stuff. Long story. Sort of thing. At least tell us what your name tag says. I was in charge of creating all the name tags for the detectives, but I'd never had to make one up for myself. It says #sleeper. Why that name? I'm always tired. Welcome to the club. I was better at infiltration than I thought. So you're like a detective, like Detective Ether. You fall asleep and solve the crime in your unconscious state. No, it's really cool method called trigger chains. Sounds like a Power Rangers attack. But I guess there's no helping that. I can't explain properly. I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry, chap. I'm fine. I choked on my own spit while trying to voice act a character. Whew. Breathing. 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 Okay, I'm no longer choking on my own spit. I'm fine. I've returned to normal. I've had a sippy. That fixed me. I had a sippy and it fixed me. I'm good to go. Whew. That was scary. That was scary. That was a scary choking on my own spit. Bleh. 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 Happy April Fools. I almost fucking died. I'm joking. I didn't. I was fine. I would have recovered. I can't explain properly how weird it felt to sit in a room with people I'd only ever seen on a screen. Like meeting celebrities, I guess. Seeing their faces and movements through my own eyes was unsettling. Excuse me. I said next to Asper. You wait long to be questioned. About an hour. They like to draw it out so you're as unnerved as possible when he contacts you. So there is a speaker system though, so if you wanted to meet him, then too bad. We game masters knew the detectives generally assumed 2 things. That the game master was one person and that they were male. Which made it more likely that they wouldn't figure out who I really was. The name's Detective Melly, by the way. Thanks for asking. I was going to ask. There was still some weird tension. Felt like I was a 3rd wheel or something. 5th wheel, to be specific. I'm bored. Is there something else to talk about? What's your big plan? Game Master's gonna interrogate you, you know. Just won't answer any of his questions. That won't work. When it comes to talk, you'll talk, no matter how much you don't want to. What do you mean? Noza was always asking what people meant. Sort of her catchphrase. What will he do? You know the announcement tune. Everyone nodded. He plays it over and over, and it never stops. It's torturous. Slakes looked at me incredulously. Really? Yeah. I can't tell if you're kidding or not. Just trust me, you'll have to answer everything they ask. The faster the process grows, the faster you'll get back to the competition. Well, you're still here then. I'm really tough to break, that's why. Sykes was suspicious of me. His relentless questioning was part of the reason I was getting an uneasy feeling. What could I do to make him trust me? You know what I hate? What do you hate, Millie? How the case file doesn't show the autopsy report. I know, right? Exactly! If we knew the results of the report, the case would be so easy to solve. It makes no sense, because in a real investigation you would access to that report. It's just a cheap way for the Game Master to force us to figure out the method of death. Yeah, it's so transparent. Good, my plan was working. Our announcement? Chime sounded. Greetings, cheaters. It was probably Greg, since the others made him do the boring stuff when I wasn't around. You all know how we've sent you to the questioning room. But we don't. At least not fully. The main point on which we are curious is, why did you let yourselves get caught this time? The table was lined with little electronic displays, one in front of each of us, the buttons alongside them. The displays lit up with the words 5,000 left. The amount of money went down by 50 every second. Do you get it? Press the button, write out your friends. First to do so gets all the money displayed. Be quick, it'll all be gone in a matter of seconds. Well, this is no. 778 immediately pressed his button. What's wrong with you? Everything. I am a twisted individual. We got caught on purpose. Well, I alerted you to the fact that we were cheating in order to reach this room. Well, I started this room. I was hoping to meet you in person, so that I could talk to you, the Game Master. First of all, why did the tank brags always cheat so little? It's very suspicious. Do I have to remind you who's questioning who? You, not me. Greg's modified voice sounded so stupid I almost laughed. How could the detectives take the Game Master seriously with such a dopey audio filter? Wait, I want to know that too. Also, what did you hire Haney? How many other competitions have there been? Do you have a lot of money? Can I have some? Fine. Fine. I will answer one question, guys. Just one. If you answer all of mine, then you will all be reintegrated into the contest. Even Millie. Detective Millie is here for other reasons than you. But fine. Millie too. 778 looked around at everyone. I say we take this opportunity. What question should we ask, though? Let me do it. I didn't get the opportunity last time. 778 nodded and the others seemed to agree. They spent the next couple minutes answering Greg's questions. Yes, Red July had been cheating. No, there weren't any other detectives other than Stakes and Asper. Yes, there was a group called Tads. And I'm the leader. Yep, 778's the leader of Tads. Greg pretended to buy it. So, you risk expulsion from the contest to get here. What is your question? What do you want to know? We all looked at Slakes. What is your method, Game Master? How did Greg game himself out of this one? That's a pretty good question, actually, because it's going to give away the fact that there's more than one of them. Because there's not just one method. Chapter 22. Reinstated. The mysterious detective contest's even more mysterious questioning room. Detective 778 has negotiated a question for the Game Master, and Detective Slakes has asked it. What is your method? 778 grinned and rubbed his hands together. That was a great question. Now all know the Game Master is a detective, and if he is, we may be able to figure out who he is through what method he says. I was amused by the situation Greg had gotten himself into. What would he say? My method? It's nothing special. I just schedule the rounds like anyone would. He dodged it by interpreting Stakes' question in a different way than what Stakes had intended. Boo. Was Lynn right on behalf of the detectives? Stakes sighed and rubbed his eyes, looking ashamed. Can't believe it. Should have phrased it so we weren't able to do that. Next time for sure. Okay, contestants, you're now allowed back into the competition. About time. I was sick of this place. I'm sick of being returned a fraction of the time you were. We walked out of the room and towards the lobby. 778 hopped up the stairs, which I knew he did, but I'd never seen him do it in person. It seemed like a waste of energy. Far too active for me to attempt. When we got to the lobby, I glanced up at the clock. We were just in time for the third round ranking announcement, but we'd missed dinner. They had food somewhere in the hotel, but I didn't like it much. In 5th place, Detective Raoul. In 4th place, Detective Says. This time I was sure it was Kane. In 3rd place, Slakes. 2nd place, Red July. And 1st place, 778. Oh, 778 had moved up to 1st. Only because he cheated, though. He looked like he was going to cry tears of happiness, despite it not being a real victory. Just kidding. 778 cheated this round by teaming up with Detective Slakes. They've both been moved to the bottom of the list. Raoul says and Red July are 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Instantly 778's tears turned from happy ones to sad ones. What did he expect, though? You'll work your way back up and around. Just don't cheat next time. Also, because 778 partner Nell technically wasn't helping to solve the case but simply repeating what Detective Slips was saying, she is no longer 778's partner. The new one will be selected for him soon. What? Yes, she was. What about the 4th floor rule? If they're in the upper 25%, the partners are locked in, aren't they? That was only the first stage. There's no 4th floor in this hotel. In this stage, the partners are required to help with every mystery. This is a development. Promise I'll stay in the competition. Someday we'll work together again. I predict rain and promise nothing. Really? He's trying to be nice as usual, but maybe that's been my mistake all along. I'm actually glad I don't have to be your partner anymore. Goodbye. Now walked away without another word. I could tell she was hurt by 778's cold dismissal. 778 looked down at the floor. Hush. Who's the jerk now? It was time for our first partner switch announcement for stage 2. Now we'll be partnered with Detective Ether. Detective 778 will be partnered with Detective Melly. They'd set it this way so I could infiltrate Tads. I refuse. I've changed my mind. I'll keep Nell as my partner. The speakers remained silent. 778 took off one of his large shoes and threw it at the speakers. It made an impressive clunk. But the game master still didn't answer him. Did you hear me? I'm not changing partners. Stop making such a scene. Your attention magnet. Definitely Kane. Nobody cares. To be precise, even the small percentage of the population represented in the hotel lobby doesn't care. And they matter the most. Either you can whine about something you could have prevented and quit, or you can shut up about it and press on. You're not entitled to keep your partner. That's all I'll say about this. Head to your rooms for the next round, please. Is it just me, or did the Game Master get extremely opinionated? You deserved it. But I agree with you switching back to Nell. Millie deserves a better partner. You tried to bail on her. I hate switching partners. It's like light bulb jokes. No matter who's switching what, there's always a punchline. I don't understand that analogy. It's like an art. No, don't even think about it. Slakes walked away. Well, this is really awkward. Maybe we'd meddled a bit too much in the contest. Sorry about Nell, but our names are pretty much the same, so what's the difference? Look, I can do a Nell thing. You're so annoying. Does that help? No. You seem to know a lot about the other detectives. Somebody was stuck in a room this whole stage. Look, my problem is I blend in really well. I blend and I observe. Blend and observe. Huh, it's like you aren't even there. That's because I'm blending. and I'm observing that you have a very clown-like aesthetic. Well, that's because my parents were clowns. It was the exact same way he said it to now. So what is a trigger chain? It's how my brain works. It's a little like memorization. I can perfectly recall experiences or information in my life when I hear certain words. I associate memories with words very easily. Words like clean bring to mind a very specific memory I have. But for it to be useful, I have to string together several words in a chain. That's why I call them trigger chains. That's fantastic. If I need to remember, say, what a salad fork does, could I come up with the trigger? What's the criteria? Since it's specific, salad fork would probably work fine. But a more general word like cloud is associated with many, many memories. So to keep my memories from overwhelming me, I usually end up making up a nonsense word to recall it. I've done link memories to trigger chains as I experience them. Otherwise the memory is gone forever. You're gonna try to remember this moment right now? Sure, why not? I remember this moment as fishtastic. That's very fishtastic indeed. Start in the mind locker. What stickers are on yours? Mine has a duck sticker. Coming from the duck is a speech bubble that says, out to lunch. But it isn't fish with you, it's a duck. Well, they're the funniest animals. My mind locker has a note stuck to it with a piece of gum that says, out to lunch. 778 laughed. I was pleased, because I'd noticed that he never laughed at anyone else's jokes. I never forgot that fishtastic moment, even though I didn't really need to remember it. Sometimes it's nice to think back on, I guess. Why did she change tense? That's the first time that's happened. She went from talking in the present tense to the past tense. Suspicious. I felt bad for Nell, but on the other hand, she had cheated in the contest. In a way, she was lucky the contest was completely rigged. She would have been out in the first round. Okay. Chapter 23. Someone to talk to. Detective 778 and his new partner, Melly, move on to solve the fourth round of the second stage in the Mysterious Detective competition. Oh, so, Bella. The competition isn't a government competition. In fact, the government doesn't know the competition is happening. In fact, from what we've been told, the government are against the competition and are trying to shut it down. It's why they moved locations. Because they started in like a fake prison. And now they're in a fake hotel. They literally had to move locations. Oh, it's a song reference. Okay. I'm just a dumbass. You know what kind of people I hate to work with? People who take things seriously. Luckily, Detective 778 demonstrated how he didn't fit in that category of people immediately after the investigation started. Millie, are you ready? Just stand on your head. Maybe later. Excellent, Millie. Excellent. Should we look around for clues or something? Yes, Millie, that's what we must do. Because we are detectives. Right, but the game master hasn't said anything yet. That means we have a head start. Huh. Looks like the residue of some kind of the ceiling. Like smoke or some kind of chemical. Yeah. It's not on my side. This business card on the table is for the brokerage firm founded by Mr. Decapitio. Yeah, I got one too. Interesting. I think something's in the bathroom. Oh. A lovely game master chime sounded. Welcome to the fourth round of stage 2. This mystery is called Severance Pay. As usual, here's the case file. Finally. Mr. Decapitio was found decapitated in the bathroom with the keycard in his hotel room. His violent business co-founder, Mr. Archimedes, was staying in an adjacent room and was arrested. Both the bathroom and the hotel room were locked from the inside when the crime was discovered. You do not have access to the autopsy report. Special bonus. Present a motive for the crime. And the suspect's file. Wait, here with the suspects this time. We've got Toya, the living weapons person. We've seen them before. We have Rig. Kills his victims by using the principles of engineering. Filter, we've had him before. He's the noxious gas person. Strunk kills her victims by cutting off their heads, then preserving those heads in healing fluids. I'm going to guess that it's supposed to be engineering. This is a tricky one, so we give you a bit of a head start. As you can tell from the case file, this is a locked room inside of a locked room. Both the hotel room and the bathroom were locked from the inside. Your time starts now. Exciting. Whole new scene to investigate. Yeah, exciting. Of course I'd known there was something in the bathroom. But exactly what the solution to the mystery was, I couldn't remember. Good thing I had my trigger chains in case I got stuck. Bathroom is locked from the inside with this sliding bolt, I assume. Not sure I know any way the killer could have locked it from the inside from the outside. Really? What about magnets? No, there'd be leftover evidence. Tip and a string. Tape would be on the lock. What about a spring? What about a spring? I don't know. That's not helpful. I'm gonna try hopping on one foot. That'll probably help. Good idea. And so the hopping competition began. These two are not solving anything. That's the trouble with 778, is he needs someone to force him to actually solve the thing. He needs to be paired with someone more sensible or he won't solve it. And he's been put with another person who can't give a shit or can't focus. They put two ADHD people next to each other and expected them to actually get anything done. This is gonna be bad for them. There's a trail of blood running down the door. Too thin and high to be part of the natural blood splatter. I agree. Looking at it upside down really stands out. I think it stands out no matter how you look at it. A decapitated victim. What a violent mystery. I'll say. Decapitated and bashed on the head. Bashed on the head? Victim has a large bruise on his head. I don't think mine does. I think he might also be maybe sabotaging it because he's already figured out that Millie is one of the game masters. The hotel keycard on the toilet. I got it too. Soon as with the locks, the hotel door. Wait a minute. Both the bathroom and the hotel door were locked. How can I get to the hotel keycard back inside the bathroom after locking the hotel door? Sounds impossible to me. It was completely impossible. Just the kind of clue we game masters loved. We'd investigated all there was to investigate. I was eager to hear what 778 had come up with. So this mystery is more complex than it appears. For one thing. Hey, it's exactly 100% what I was gonna say. Oh really? Sorry. No big deal. But you're right, Nell. I'm not Nell, I'm Melly. Right, sorry. Now we finished apologizing to each other, let's try to solve the mystery, yeah? Sounds good. Okay, we'll start with the MOD. Method of death. Yeah, what do you think of cut off Mr. Capitato's head? That's what I was trying to ask you as part of your training. I don't need any training, buddy. I've been a detective for 12 years. So how about you tell me what you were thinking, because I already have an answer. Why don't you tell me your answer, Nelly? Okay, you just say it on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. She's got to pretend to not know, is the thing. Can't be razor wire. Can't be an axe. The keycard? Razor wire, yeah. Razor wire. That's what I was gonna say. Sure it was. It was bad enough being laughed at by the other game masters. Sometimes even worse being laughed at by a lowly detective. Razor wire makes sense. It fits with the line of blood on the bathroom door. It's razor wire. That explains how the killer could have killed the victim from outside the bathroom. Could he use his two doors as a pulley system? Pulling the victim up and the wire through the top of the door. Cutting off the head. That does make sense. The weapon is neatly removed from inside the bathroom. However, there's a large flaw with their hypothesis. Can you see what the problem is? There are no flaws. I'm a maze detective, and that's that. Time to submit a deduction. I'm joking. Good one. A major flaw in my hypothesis. What could it be? The locked room. Well, that's a problem in the locked room, right? There are two locked rooms in this mystery, hotel room and the bathroom. The bathroom was locked in such a way it could have been impossible to lock from the outside. And the hotel's key card was in the bathroom with the victim. There's no way the killer could have set up the victim inside the bathroom with the wire noose. Exit, lock him inside, and then get out without using the hotel key card to lock the room. Exactly, Melly. This is what I was thinking. I was also thinking, maybe we're looking into this mystery all wrong. Everything works if we just change one thing of our solution. Just one thing. What was he talking about? No murderer? Question mark? Maybe Mr. Archimedes was arrested falsely. Maybe just Mr. Decapitato killed himself. That's what I was thinking. That's also what I was thinking. So I need you to know that I was also thinking that he killed himself. And that as soon as I saw that Mr. Archimedes was the name of the other guy, I was like... Oh, no, Mort, I'm 100% sure 778 has already cracked Melly wide open. That's the thing with 778. He's a dumbass, but he's very, like, perceptive to other people. He's very good at, like, getting into people's brains. He just doesn't use that information for anything. He's good at reading people. I'm pretty sure he's already figured it out. He could have just locked the hotel door with his keycard, went inside the bathroom, locked the bathroom door, and killed himself. But wait, does there need to be someone pulling the razor wire loop closed from outside the door? Not necessarily. He could have looped the wire noose around the door, securing it, pulled the sharp wire closed around his neck, and then used the power of gravity and its own weight to cut off his own head. Hey, this might be it. Oh yeah, in real life, razor wire isn't really used for decapitation like that. In real life, razor wire's whole purpose is a, like, deterrent. More than anything. Like, you'll get cut. And you might bleed out if it nicks an artery or something. But it's not really made to cut through you, because human bone is really hard to cut through. So he would have hung himself rather than actually cut himself. Hey, this might be it. There's no other way to explain the locked doors, right? Let's not get excited, Melly. It's bad detective work to jump to a conclusion. He was the one who jumped to a conclusion. Let's think for a bit longer. What doesn't fit in this scenario? There might be something. Sigh. Why didn't he just call it a day? Detectives always try to do more than they need to. Reluctantly, I thought about his scenario. To think of it as a suicide, instead of a murder, really solve all the problems. Well, there was something missing from the crime scene that 778 hadn't accounted for. The wire. Where the fuck is the wire? Ah, that was it. Once a guy's head's off, the wire would be lying on the floor. And it's not. A dead guy can't hide a wire. But what if there was an accomplice? No, you're right. Oh man. Well, it means Rebecca had another problem. How did Mr. Archimedes magically walk through 2 locked doors? Well, I was about to say, maybe he was hiding in the room. That would have had to been hiding in the bathroom, and there's nowhere to hide in there. At least he was a tiny elf and can hide in the toilet. We'll put a pin in that one. Millie, simply by whacking myself in the face, I have thought of a brilliant idea. Okay, what? Check the hotel door. I think we missed something. I was reasonably intrigued. Okay, hotel doorknob. What about it? Millie, what if the hotel door wasn't locked with the keycard? The case file says it was locked. It was locked. But not with the keycard. Look at the type of lock on the doorknob. It's a push-in lock. There are 2 ways to lock the hotel room door. And with a push-in lock, you can lock it while the door is open, pull it shut, and it will be locked from the outside. Wow. For the first time in a while, I was fully awake. Oh, so that's what they're going for. It's not actually a locked room. Well, less that it's not actually a locked room and more that it's a... false double locked room. Where, yes, it was locked. The bathroom door was locked. But the secondary locked door wasn't actually locked at the time. Was this finally the answer we needed? So that solves how the killer got out of the hotel room. And it even explains how the keycard could be inside the bathroom. Yes, Millie. The game is afoot, or more accurately, ahead. Yeah, but wait. I haven't figured out how the bathroom was locked from the inside. Time's running out. We're almost there, Millie. Don't give up. Despite his words, things were looking pretty bleak. Though we did tweak the rankings like crazy, there was still some truth to them. And a very poor showing by 778 could get him kicked out of tops, or whatever. If there was any time to cheat, that would be it. Though I'd forgotten the mystery solution, I'd forgotten most of things in my life. I can remember it all if I just use my method. All I needed to do was remember the word I'd come up with that would trigger the memory. Something straightforward having to do with this mystery. Combination of a bunch of other words. Stage 2. Round 4. Mystery solution. Stage stigmatophromersal. I think this is the one to pick. Probably his best mystery yet. Looks like we have a winner. Felt a great job imitating it too. It worked really smoothly when we implement it. Nice. I'm from the criminals. Hey, Millie. No cheating in the World Cup Championship. I saw you placing that ball by the bin. What? I wasn't. Ugh, that's enough of that memory. So Mastermind felt I was part of the mystery. But what did that mean? How did that help me at all? Hey, Millie. Yeah. I admit it, this is stumping me. Well, don't worry, because I just thought of something. What? Do you think Mastermind Filter was involved in the mystery? Wasn't Toya right? The body wasn't used as a weapon. Wasn't shrunk, because the head's obviously not preserved in healing liquids. So it's gotta be. Filter? You're right, Millie. Which makes the other criminal... Riggs, right? It's Riggs and Filter. Riggs and Filter. Yeah. It's the only thing that makes sense. So I felt as responsible, and it might be explain the residue on my ceiling. Which I don't have. The only thing you don't have in my room is the bump on the victim's head. What do traces of the chemicals in the bump on the head have in common? You tell me, buddy. I'm trying to think through multiple options. They both might knock you out. Well, yeah. So maybe the victim was knocked unconscious, woke up in the bathroom, locked himself inside before getting murdered. Okay. But why do you do that? The killer was still in the room. Obviously he wouldn't do that to protect himself. Oh yeah. Is that it? That's it, right? Yeah, I think that explains everything. Finally. This sure had been a complex mystery. Alright, a bonus question. Why did we bother with that thing? Such a waste of time. Right, I was thinking about that a little. Remember how Casewell said Mr. Archimedes and Mr. Decapitato were co-founders? Yeah. Well, the business card says Mr. Decapitato is the founder. It doesn't mention Mr. Archimedes at all. I get it, I think. Mr. Archimedes discovered I was being booted out of the company, something like that. Exactly. I think that's it. Submit. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like my deductions. Though I will not like your deduction, you are nonetheless correct. Chat, they told you to do the things. I'm joking. Your answer is 100%. Your answer to the bonus question was acceptable. Yeah, it better have been. I took off the headset and joined 779 in the hall. Do you know what I realised? The television in my hotel room doesn't work. They're blocking off the outside world. Wow, how long is this competition gonna last? It's no big deal. He was right. We didn't want anyone to know what was happening in the outside world. It might clue them in on what the point of the competition was. Do you know what this means? The Game Master cares about us after all. He wants us to save us the worst horror known to humankind. Television. What's wrong with television? I tune in, sit down, and tune out. It's great. I mean to say is, what's wrong with having an electronic device take the place of my imagination? Imagination is the secret to deactivating. You have to have imagination to piece together clues. I can think of a few extremely unimaginative detectives. Any good? Not really. There you go. You really can't think of anything television's good for. The very least, it's someone to talk to. I guess I deserve that for asking you an honest question. Let's go back to the lobby, okay? It has couches. Time for my mid-afternoon nap. You have a one-track mind. Nobody's jugging on it because they're all taking an infinite break. I rolled my eyes, but was nonetheless mildly insulted. When we reached the lobby, it was mostly empty. I could have used a cookie, but they were only stuck those on the criminal side for some insane reason. 779 walked over to the receptionist's desk and rung the bell. With a longing look at the couches, I forced myself to walk up to the desk too. My assignment was more important than my rest. Soon I whispered, reaching out towards my beloved memory foam couches. Hello, 779. I'm afraid the contest outsiders are banned from entering the hotel. I don't know how she got in here, but she'll have to be escorted out. Crap. I forgot about Haney. As a greeter, she would of course know every detective. She was going to blow my cover wide open. Oh well. What a failure. To my mild surprise, the Game Master chime sounded. You rang? This detective is not on the register and needs to be escorted out of the building. That's incorrect. She isn't in the contest. What? I was not aware of this. Detective, what's your name? Detective Melly. What's going on? I didn't know. Well, I was held in the questioning room and... Here's what happened. We discovered that Detective Chambers wasn't solving the mysteries. She was using an earpiece for the entirety of stage 1. The person really solving the mysteries was Detective Melly. Good story, Greg. We'd already tampered a lot in the contest. Why not scapegoat a detective to splice me in? So many ethical violations. Oh well. We brought in Detective Melly for questioning. Since kicking out Detective Chambers would have made pairs uneven, we decided to simply integrate Detective Melly into the contest. That's why Detective Chambers is missing from the ranking this round. Huh. She checked the rankings. It's true. He's not here. Why wasn't it announced? Some things must be done quietly, to maintain calm. Great. Maybe there should be a contingency for when a detective is expelled and the pairs are uneven. That definitely was worth thinking about. Very bold, Greg. The speaker clicked off. So you say, no problem, right? I guess not. So, Henny, what's the next assignment? Don't say that in front of her. She's not inducted. Then induct her. She's my partner. This should be pretty much changing me, so there's no helping it. Was 779 and Whistling helping me gain access to TADS? This was great. Well. Henny's eyes shifted back and forth. She was clearly uneasy about me, just seeing as I had 779's endorsement. Okay, my name's Henny. I'm the leader of TADS. What are TADS? It's an acronym. We are the Tentative Detective. No, wait. Give me a second here, it'll come to me. Can't even remember their own acronym. The Tentative Alliance of Detectives in Secret. Our alliance is made up of the best detectives both in and out of the competition. Our main goal is to meet the Game Master and ask him some questions. What's the point? Just solve the mysteries like a good little detective and mind my own business. Why should we bother the Game Master with tedious questions? The question I want to ask is far from tedious. A very, very important question. Oh, right. Hey, Henny, we actually got to ask a Game Master a question. What? Yeah, in the questioning room. Sykes asked, what is your method? But the Game Master completely dodged it. Okay, when you spoke to the Game Master without notifying me. That's great. Hey, here's a thought. Maybe tell the leader of TADS when something like that occurs. Right. I apologize. Whatever. No big deal. I cry internally, so... The tears are falling down my levator labiali supermoris muscle. Good to know. The prize money, I think they said it was 5 million, but I might be wrong. Having a sippy. I don't know what it is about certain characters' voices today, but they keep causing me to, like, to choke. I don't know if I'm maybe doing someone's voice differently to how I normally do it. I don't know. I know I stopped voice acting the inner thoughts, because that felt pointless. We'll figure it out. I'll figure out what changed. Hooray, you're inducted, fireworks and confetti and stuff. I'm sorry to cut your induction short, but I need to give you guys an assignment before the next round starts so we can't stand around and be on a tangent all day. 779, did you get here in time to catch the rankings? He shook his head. Henny looked grim, or at least as grim as her expressionless face could look. Look. She pointed to the screens that listed the rankings. What? Red July is... Huh. The top-ranked detective this round is... It's Sess? Who is Sess? Who dat? This isn't someone we've heard of before. This is another new character. Chapter 24. A certain artificial illness. Detective 779 and his partner Melly find out that Detective Sess, a narcotic detective, has miraculously placed first in the mystery-solving competition. We have seen him before, actually. Very briefly as a one-off joke. Sure enough, 779 had apparently outperformed Slakes this round. Red July was in second place for the first time in the contest, and Detective Cess had managed to take first place in the rankings. There were 4 reasons I know that this could have happened. 1, Red July 779 and Slakes performed worse than Cess. 2, Cess was really good at the particular mystery. 3, Game Masters decided to send him to the top. 4, Cess outperformed everybody through method alone. The first reason was too unlikely for the case. Second wouldn't get him in first, maybe second but not first. The third reason was impossible because the other Game Masters would have asked for my input before making a decision like that. That left the 4th reason. Detective 779 glanced at me and I knew we'd come to the same conclusion. Cess is like a detective. Cess is like a detective on steroids. Personally, I believe that detectiving is technically a sport and therefore should ban the use of performance-enhancing drugs. Anyway, it's surprising me that he managed to make it to first. His mediocre method shouldn't have gotten him past 4th. What changed, I wonder?
More importantly, how could he gotten past Red July? If Cess was using his ordinary method, he might have been able to get to second, but the fact that he got to first means something's wrong with Red July. This is your Tad's assignment. I want you to visit her room. It's number 232. Find out why she dropped the ball this time.
Detective 779 nodded and gestured at me. Well, we'll have Millie remembering the number. She's good at memory things. What's the point in bothering to trigger chain it when it's not linked to information? I'll just run it on my elbow or something in case you forget. I grabbed my marker and did your slap. Haney looked irritated. Not everyone likes seeing my skin gut change into a diary, but I like how it looks. It's sort of like temporary tattoos. In an indiscernible scrawl, that is. My handwriting isn't great. Actually, it's beyond awful. Off you two go, then. We began the trek to Red's room. The hotel was large. Certainly larger than the 2-floor bed and breakfasts I usually stayed at. It also smelled like awful scented candles for some reason. One of the mysteries of this competition is how the one detective could be better than another. Think about it. Something tells me you've done the thinking for me, so just tell me what you figured out. It's a question of hierarchy. Solving crime isn't easy and there's tons of ways to do it. I'll make up an example. Imagine a murder is committed and the criminal immediately leaves a tooth at the scene. Now let's say he left it on purpose and is a calling card because his name is the Killer of Wobbly Road. Every detective here has a different method of deduction and each one would arrive at that conclusion differently. Roll would fill the tooth and figure out that it was false and not knocked from a mouth. Slicks would solve it as Eccles from the dentist cleric's point of view. Red July would take an entire experience of the crime scene, the tooth and every other piece of evidence would immediately connect, etc. Yeah, so the point is that they're all good at their jobs? No. But they are unique. That means they can't be compared. There's no right way to solve a crime. The top detectives should be random, instead of just skill, not method. Do you know what? Red July's not exceptionally skilled. Can't do that. You can't dangle a worm in front of me and then just reel it in. Fishing metaphors are beneath me. Like the ocean floor beneath the tuna. Covered in trash that we don't need to know about. I think I'm getting a headache. Forget my bad fishing metaphor. What do you mean? Red's not skilled. You said yourself that it's damn skill. How could she not be skilled if she's at the top all the time? Red July is experienced, definitely fast, but not skilled. Her deductions lack finesse. During 5th round stage 1, we saw videos of the mysteries being solved in order to vote for the rankings. She basically stomped all over the case. She didn't respect it. I don't know what you mean. I kinda did, but Detective Melly didn't. She said the mystery broke the integrity of the contest because most of the context missing. A detective investigating a real crime scene would immediately have been aware the room could root out. But I disagree. The contest takes place in a heightened reality. Complaining about the realism is like complaining that a good guy doesn't get shot by the bad guy in a movie. Personally, I highly enjoyed that mystery. Ah, thanks. I'd be the one who suggested the idea for that mystery. Thanks? What for? Whoops. I mean, thanks for explaining why you think Red July's overrated. No problem. Phew. He bought it. No, he didn't. Girl, you can convince yourself he bought it, but he didn't. After a good 5 more minutes of wandering around the hotel halls, we arrived at Red July's door. 779 scraped the door with his hand like a cat to announce his entrance. Then sidestepped a thin blade shot out of the peephole. What that? I looked at 779 for an explanation. Red's always been a bit paranoid. Besides, it's task protocol. If I'm ever about to be killed because of protocol, tell me first, okay? Red July had painted the lampshades of her favourite colour. Spoiler alert, red. This also isn't Red July.
My hallucinations have gotten more vivid.
I had my hand over my mouth in case I caught her germs. Stop that, she's not sick. Hallucinations, you say? It's obvious she's been drugged. Where else would Cess have been placed first? Of course, there's the possibility she just happened to catch an illness that matches most side effects of drugs, and Cess just happened to have a lucky streak. That does seem highly likely.
It may not be Cess. Try imagine other possibilities before jumping to conclusions.
Somebody might want Cess out of the competition, so they're framing him by drugging you. 779 started running around the room. There's more to that theory. Why would Cess strike now? It doesn't give an advantage to Swordfish this early in the contest. That means that all this could really be so that someone else gets to go up a rank. Maybe they want to climb a rank higher because they don't want to get eliminated because of cutoff. So the framework could be somewhat at the bottom of the list. I will look into this. Meanwhile, I'll stay here until it's time for the next round. He circled the room one more time and then ran out the door, knocking over a lamp on his way. I didn't know what to say.
It's too quiet. When it gets quiet, my thoughts get overwhelming. It has to do with my method. The air was thick with mystery.
That's funny. I have the opposite problem. Hearing too much noise clouds my head.
You're very strange, Melly. You don't look surprised to see me. You're this whole competition I have not met you in person.
Well, I was helping Detective Chambers cheat or something. So he was out. I mean...
Yeah, but people are usually a little more intimidated by me.
Well... I'm just very relaxed.
I could tell from your almost non-existent reaction to my security measure outside.
You mean the eye-poking skewer you shoved at me?
It's just a scare tactic. I would have never intentionally maimed someone.
There's a moment of silence.
It's too quiet.
There was another long pause. It's starting to get really awkward. Should I follow 779? Luckily, the announcement jingle played. There are currently 22 detective pairs. In case you don't remember, last stage was whittled all 50 pairs into just 30. This stage, we've been eliminating the bottom 2 pairs every round. Let's bring it down to 20 with our second detective run voting period. The 5th round, the second stage, will start soon. Please make your way to the lobby. Reggie coldly walked past me into the hallway. It made me wish I had bubblegum to chew. I chewed bubblegum to relieve stress, and the level of stress I was feeling right then called for a bench-sized bubblegum stick. Wait, you're not right in the head right now. I guess you mean you've probably been drugged. The Game Master is required to halt the stage if there's a serious problem. Detectives being drugged so they'll perform badly is definitely enough colours for them. Reggie barely gave me a second look as she continued down the hall. Hello?
If I perform well in spite of being drugged, that will be the perfect thing to put on my resume.
Okay. That seems normal. I waited a few moments before following her so they wouldn't have to walk beside her. Probably wasn't a great idea to hang around with a talented detective like her. She was probably already suspicious. I arrived at the lobby, late on purpose. The announcement jingle sounded soon after. Detective contestants. It's time once again for you to vote for your favourite detective. Like in one's final round. It will be timing you as usual, but it will not factor into the rankings, because this time they will be decided by vote. Blah blah blah, you've all heard this before. The casual turn indicated Greg. Please enter the elevator. It will take you to the site of the second stage, 5th and final round. Alright. I'm excited for stage 3. It's been a long road to this day. Day I've been waiting for. A day to remember. Well, he held out his hand for a fist bump. I didn't return it. Stop being such a great contrast to my stoic and sleepy nature. Sorry, I'm just full of youthful energy. What a nuisance. Was he calling me old? I'm only 29. How many times do I have to say that before someone believes me? That's such a lie. You're probably 32. How do you know? Nobody figured out my exact age before. I guessed. My guesses are usually accurate. An accurate guess is an oxymoron. So's a youthful 32-year-old. It was ageism. Plain and simple. We boarded the elevator. I was squeezed in with other detectives already, but Asper got in anyway. The elevator started going down. I remember that Greg had said something about placing the 5th round in the basement or something. Oh well, they'd gone ahead and planned it without me. I was going to have to solve it in earnest. The elevator passed the basement level. Apparently the hotel had a sub-basement. The doors opened with their usual thing. We were in the large, whitewashed room with an ugly tiled floor, like you see in bathrooms. The smell of chlorine was permeating my nostrils. In case you're wondering, we've carved out this sub-basement just for the 5th round, as you can see. Suddenly, our annoying warning buzz sounded. I'm sorry, contestants, but there's been a bit of trouble. Please return to the elevator. The elevator door was shut, and we began moving back up. What's happening? Is this planned? It seems there's been a virus breakout. We've quarantined the area. If you get any signs of illness, tell us immediately. We'll send someone to help you soon. Until then, the round is postponed. The doors opened and we were back in the lobby. I noticed that the exits had been closed off. A virus? If you ask me, it's a cake's fault. It was dry, not moist, and deceitful. What an incredibly timeless reference. Oh my fucking god, that was a Portal reference. How dare you, Melly? That is a timeless reference. Portal references are always timeless. How dare you, Melly? How dare you? Portal is timeless. I will not hear anything to the contrary. Food poisoning. Tail foods, one of them. He coughed, interrupting himself. The detectives around him took a step back. He's got the virus. This is so exciting. Shut up, you tourist detective. What do you think it is, hot potato? Oh no. I'm sick. It got me. A zombie outbreak. It's here. Would you calm down? Tickle your arm. There's a pinprick. 779 stopped his histrionics and looked at his arm. Well spotted, Millie. Somebody must have injected me with something. I do feel a bit lightheaded. I won't make the obvious joke. Thank you. Mostly because I feel a little lightheaded myself. Ugh. What the heck? Detectives all around me were gasping for air and leaning on walls. This was a total disaster. How had this happened? Clark? Kane? Greg? Chapter 25. The Watching Room. Part 5. Detective Reguli and 779 have been drugged, thereby postponing the final round of the second stage of the detective competition. Detectives are dropping like flies. What's going on? I looked over to Clark, who was drinking his daily cup of coffee. Whenever Melly was in the office, he'd bet on how many coffee stains would wind up on her shirt. Now that she'd been sent out to spawn the contest, it had gotten pretty boring. I'd even had to revive the classic musical desks to elevate the tedium. Finally, something's happening. Put down his mug. Something I should care about? Look at you, Greg. That's something Millie would say if she were here. You're just like Millie, except way less cool. Why, thank you. I'll be quiet. So our duty as Game Master is to oversee everything with discerning eye. If our eye wonders how we will fulfill that duty. I say stand strong and stand on opponents' necks and never give up. Oh, great, it's another speech. How do you rate this one, Clark? Well, 0 for invoking ignition and 0 for coherence. Everything else you can file under lackluster. Look, 777 is making a speech of his own. Something exciting was happening in the lobby. Just like my favourite reality TV show, something exciting happened in the hotel lobby. 777 was attempting to get out a word. No, a name. He coughed once more, holding up his hand as he collected himself. It looked for an instant like he was going to say it, but then suddenly collapsed. How dramatic. Either Esther looks like she collapsed too, or she may have just fallen asleep trying to stop a crime. Camera 4, you're on your right, red's down. Look at them, they drop like little flies. I'm amused. Justice down, and Honor. Look, Esper space punch the carpet. Couldn't stand his youthful energy. Now he has no energy. Okay, let's get serious. What's going on? Well, 779 was going to explain it until he keeled over. No, we'll never know. It's obvious. Seth drugged the top-ranked detectives to make him perform poorly. First he tried to drug Reggie Lai, but she cheated to stay in first place. Right. But it finally paid off and he got in first. Well, now what do we do? Keep him out of the contest? Oh man, but he's such a woman-friendly guy. More importantly, if anyone finds out how much we screwed it up by not catching this sooner, yikes. That'd be bad. I was just imagining what would happen in my mind. Oh boy. No need to panic, Greg. Got an idea up my sleeve. Oh yeah, what's that? Well, it's one of those mysterious ideas I'm not going to tell you about right away. You'll just have to watch and learn from a more experienced Game Master. Yes, thank you for pointing that out again. Let me just point out that I won musical desks, so nobody cares. Alright, let's get this announcement out then. An announcement? To who? All the detectives are knocked out. Not all the detectives. He pressed the comm button. Seth, you there? Chapter 26. Blackmail. Detective Seth has used his knowledge of narcotics to sabotage the other contestants in the mysterious detective competition. How will the Game Masters deal with this strange situation? Oh boy, I'm in trouble now. Seth, are you there? Yes, it's just me. Well, isn't this disappointing? All of your competitors knocked out cold. This isn't good for you. I had no choice. Top 3 have been locked in the entire contest. It's what made me realise there's no actual way for me to win. Somehow I said I don't care about winning. It's just that I want to prove my mental capacity off the answers, but I'm not using everyone else's. That's why they're fast asleep. First I tried drugging Red July. Somehow she still managed to come in first place. So I had to drug Slikes and Esper. No, that didn't work. Everyone else. Managed to call it an enhancer when you've clearly been injecting them with drugs that hamper their mental acuity, not increase it. Yes, that's what I've done. Can you blame me? I can, because you're at fault. You cheated. And ordinarily, that would disqualify you. However, what would become of your partner, Detective Caprice? The pairs would be uneven. That won't do. So what's your big plan for me, then? I propose making you a balancer. If someone else is disqualified, you'll be disqualified too. That way, the pairs will remain even. It's not so much a deal, but on the other hand, as long as nobody else screws up, you'll be able to stay in the contest. Wait, but what if I do terribly in the contest? Then that would just eliminate you and your partner like any other detective. All this does is buy you some time. Either accept my offer, or be eliminated right away. Wait, you want me to volunteer for elimination in the case that another detective is disqualified, but I'm technically disqualified, and if you eliminate me, there's no other way to even out your pairs. I guess I'm the only one who was you over a barrel, eh? Either make the contest more fair, or I won't help you out even out the pairs. You don't have anything over me, though. You only think you do. It happens that I already have an agent in the contest. I could pull them out when I eliminate you. Be a shame, but it'd be possible. Today, I don't have to do what you say. Are you saying the contest isn't fair? I never said it wasn't fair. Only that I wouldn't make it fair according to whatever your idea of fair is. And yes, there is a distinction. Don't you think the fact that you couldn't stop me from this speaks to your ability to protect the detectives? As we both know, there are dangerous criminals just around the corner. But you couldn't stop me, mostly armless detective, from drugging every other detective in the contest. Be a shame the detectives knew about this. Now I'm bored of your lame attempts to blackmail me, mate. I have enough power in this contest to outmaneuver any accusation you throw at me. Yes, maybe the contest isn't fair. Maybe I don't protect the detectives well enough. This is my contest, and they signed a special contract. In the event of an uprising, I can threaten to end the contract without a winner. or declare the criminal a winner by default. Though I hope it won't come to that. So, either accept my offer, or be eliminated. You have me. It's into a corner. I'll do what you say. Means I've got to stay in the contest a little longer. Excellent. I knew you would see it my way. So how do you wake these guys up? Should be any minute now, but smelling salts will help. Good. I have a plan to explain everything. Just sit tight. Yeah, this is true. Fair is subjective. Their definition of fair is just different. And we know for a fact that they have biases, these people running it, because they like Red July way more than anyone else, and that's why they let her get away with shit that probably should have gotten her eliminated by now. They do have favourites. My head hurt. Whoa, what happened to us? I was just about to explain everything. You see, clearly the person responsible for this is Detective Sass. There would be no reason for the Game Master to knock us out, or even a criminal to do so. Therefore, it must have been a detective. The only detective whose method would involve injecting us with some kind of drug to put us to sleep is Sass. Says Sass. Why? You solved the mystery, well done. That's right, this was another pre-round mini-mystery. Our 5th round is still being set up. This brought us some time. Please make your way to the elevator now.
Makes sense to me.
And why was... Didn't read... Well, voice. Voice. Do the correct voice. Bad pigeon. Bad. Bad. Do the correct voice. Bad pigeon. Then why was Red July knocked out well before the round? Experiencing issues well before the round. It beats me, but it has nothing to do with Detective Sass, I assure you. Now let's get this round underway. Smooth move, Greg. He managed to sidestep pretty effectively. Maybe it was time to forgive him for shoving me during Paperclip War 3. I'm disappointed. I wasted my 180th case on an absurd pre-round mini-mystery. As top-ranked detectives really should have let some lower-ranked detectives solve these things. Ain't you the one who decides whether a mystery counts as something to add to your name or not? Mystery's a mystery, even if it's a terrible one. Yeah, I guess. We boarded the elevator again. Kinda weird mystery, but it's pretty fun being knocked out.
Not really. Makes me wonder if he's willing to inject us with drugs just for a stupid mystery. What else would the Game Master stoop to?
Good question. The answer was, whatever was necessary. I'm hoping we can get to 30 tonight. We're at 27 now. I'm hoping we can get to 30. Chapter 27. Locking the door. It's time for the final round of Stage 2 in the mysterious detective competition. Me and 780 were stuck in a long, boring line of detectives, waiting for the Game Master's next announcement. I decided after waiting an unbearable 2 more minutes that it was much more fun to watch the line from a television than any standing in it. What was it about TV that made everything interesting? Too bad it was banned. Thankfully the Game Master jingle sounded shortly after. I guess Greg had been caught up in an office game of some kind and forgot he still had an announcement to make. The announcement started. Greg started talking. Sounded slightly nervous from what I could tell through the voice filter. Now begins the final round of Stage 2. I'm happy to announce the 3rd stage will be more what you love. 5 new locked room mysteries. Groans ensued from the ensemble. Just kidding. Actually, this is the last locked room mystery of the competition. I promise. Sighs of relief replaced the aforementioned groans. So, the television screen flickered on and displayed a pool. This is a mystery I created just for the 5th round. It's called Pooled Resources. Slanks cringed at the pun. The detective pairs will go in one at a time, as before. We've built 2 separate crime scenes for this MO swap, and learned, like the past 4 mysteries of this round, you'll be figuring out who imitated the crime and who created it. At the end, like before, you'll be voting for the best detective pair. But because it's in the second round, you're all a little more experienced. We're introducing you to the concept of minus points. Minus points? I've been asleep for that memo. It was interesting to hear all this from the point of view of a detective, but I was suddenly feeling homesick from my chair in the office. Had it only been 10 minutes since I'd last gotten a chance to rest? I struggled to listen to Greg's monotonous voice. During the voting process, you can downvote competitors you don't like as well as voting for the ones you do. Think of it as a dislike button, whereas before you only had a like button. If a detective pair comes in last thanks to minus points, we'll eliminate them. I could feel the mood of the room getting darker. A tall, bold detective on my right raised her hand. I can't see when people raise their hands. Oh, then how did you... No, oh, never mind. My question is, what if we all make a pact to spend our minus points on the top-ranked detectives? Ranked detectives? Detectives rank lower could be artificially promoted, even if they're disliked. You know, like Detective Eastman. Hey, did someone say my name?
Did someone say my name?
The 5th rounds don't come often enough for that to pose any significant harm.
So then what's the point?
Using minus points, you can try to control who gets eliminated, whereas without them, just down to who clocks in last and isn't upvoted. Does that make sense, or do I have to break it down even more?
No, that pretty much covers it.
She then looked down at the floor, embarrassed to have drawn so much attention to herself. I glanced at my wrist where I had written a few visual-based triggers for detective names. Her name flashed into my mind in an instant. Detective Irritive, the third eye detective. According to the data I'd memorized, she shaved her head so that her hair wouldn't block her psychic powers. Wasn't sure if they were real or not, but her ranking wasn't great, so they probably weren't. Detective Arkenquire, you're up first. The doors at the end of the room clicked open, and the slouched Arken, then Quire walked through.
Who are these random people? Why did they get to go first?
Why we had invited him was a mystery that even Red July probably couldn't solve. Minus points seemed to be invented just for him. You answered your own question that randomly selected. You ready for a boring wait? Actually, I like the way it lets me consult my fellow detectives. Since when do you care about what other people think? It's all about the big comedian with you. Been dark detective with a tragic past. Who are you talking about? I've got a really easy life. They continued arguing for 5 more minutes, and to my relief, 780 and I were called to go forward. At least I have stupid sarcasm for humor. It's the lowest form of comedy. Well, it's good you try so hard to not make terrible jokes. The effort really shows. Yeah, you're both hilarious. Can we go solve a mystery now? We will table this discussion for later sakes. Actually, let's not. I opened the door and I opened door 1 and 780 went in door 2. I was next to an indoor swimming pool. There was a usual headset resting on the hook on the wall. I put it on. It's the case file, as usual. Mr. Shallow, Miss Chlorine, Miss Swims, Miss Waters. 4 dead bodies discovered in a Hotel Quail's pool at 3 PM. Nobody was arrested. The pool was locked from the inside. We don't have the autopsy report. What made things easier for the killer? Well, so far we have at least one of the victims was suffocated. Oh yeah. That's the thing with 780. He's a clown, and he feels a constant need to be the center of attention. That's his main downfall, is that he needs to be the center of attention, the same way Sherlock Holmes does. Sykes is more like Batman, but like to an annoying degree, where he's got to be angsty about everything, even things that don't need to be angsty about. And of course, the suspect's file. Brenda always twists her victims into strange shapes. Carver is a chemist who kills his victims with various forms of acid. Bones kills her victims by breaking their bones. Seaback uses electricity to kill her victims. Oh, how I'll miss the suspect's file. I'm tearing up a little just thinking about it. Goodbye, old friend. Clark was finding interesting ways to keep himself entertained. I walked to the edge of the pool, down an inclining slope that led to the shallow end. There was a drop-off to the deep end, which I climbed down into. I hadn't really been involved in this mystery. This time I couldn't use my ability to cheat. Would have to actually solve it. Shudder. Perish the thought, actually having to solve a mystery? So there's this deck chair with a glass of water nearby. It's not over here. Wait, this stuff isn't water. What's that smell? I know I've smelled it before. Any chance you trigger chained it? Yeah, almost certainly. Make sure to catalog smells of all sorts of chemical substances. It was time, once again, to use my ability. But this time I wasn't cheating. What I need to remember is the smell of a certain chemical substance, which required I think back to the time I spent with Dr. Kipps. Dr. Chemical, liquid, poison. There. Okay, what's this one?
It's a good one to remember. Hydrogen fluoride. Put it in water and it becomes hydrofluoric acid. Highly corrosive. I'm letting you smell the liquid form. As a gas, it's also very dangerous.
Yes, hydrofluoric acid is incredibly dangerous as a gas, because it works just as effectively as a gas as it does in its liquid form. So if you inhale it, your lungs get destroyed forever. Hydrofluoric gas is one of the more dangerous kinds, because all it takes is... What's bad, specifically about hydrofluoric acid, or even just hydrogen fluoride, is the fact that if you inhale the fumes off of it, because we have water in our lungs, it will turn to hydrofluoric acid in your lungs. It's one of the types of acid that you have to really, or chemicals you have to really wear respirators around every time you go near it. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. What other poisons and stuff do you have?
Just wait till you hear about cyanide.
Everyone knows about cyanide, Kippy. But did you know almonds have cyanide in them? Yeah, I did. Everyone knows that. Good old Dr. Kipps. Now she's dead. But memories of her live on. Okay, the chemical residue up in the ceiling. No, over here. Sort of a rule in the contest that if someone gets poisoned, there's like stuff on the ceiling. As long as the poison's in the form of a gas, it appears to be entirely accurate. So there's someone near the entrance to the pool. She's blue. Oh, wait, no, I'm using the wrong voice. Her case, Farrah says her name is Mrs. Chlorine. This is my case, but all completely different to yours. I don't have a Miss Chlorine or anyone blue. Seems like you're on your own there. Blue means poison, right? Yeah. Miss Waters. She's a plain white dummy with broken legs. And looking a bit closer, her skull's broken too. I don't have her on my side. Side's really boring. Sounds like it. Okay, so this is more differences than normal. Because this side, we've got, like, victims that he doesn't have. There's a plain white dummy covered with a blue cloth. I'll move it over. Caswell says his name is Mr. Shallow. And I have him over here on my side. Okay, weird. He's completely plain. Wait a sec. Okay, I just turned him over. It looks like he has a cracked skull. And a cracked spine. That's the least anatomically correct spine I've ever seen in my life. I wish I had my side so I could see it for myself. Does he just not have any bodies on his side? Okay, there's a red and black dummy covered in heavy billy cloth. Let me just move it to the side. Caswell says his name is Mr. Swims. Have him, Mr. Swims. What does red and black dummy mean? Maybe he was burning a fire. No. Does he legitimately just not have any bodies at all? There's some strange device on the edge of the pool. Is it a vacuum cleaner? No, it's not. It's a heater pump. It's essential for warming up big pools like this. How warm can a pool get? Depends on how long you run it. On my side, the heat pump is broken and there are clearly exposed wires leading into the water. Water? My side's completely dry. Interesting. No, so what I think the difference is that obviously both sides are the same crime, but done by a different criminal. In a different way, slightly different way. He's got the electrocution person, and we have the chemical person, from what I can tell. There's a slippery ice on the shallow end of my pool. Most of it's melted away. Your side sounds like very exciting, Millie. There's nothing like that over here. Didn't seem there was anything else to investigate. Time to figure all this stuff out. Okay, I think that's it. This seems complicated. Well, my side isn't. It's like we got two entirely different mysteries. I pretty much already solved mine, so it's so simple. Well, that's disappointing to hear. I have to tell Greg, Clark, and Kane to do better. What do you come up with? Well, mine there's 4 victims floating in the pool. Mr. Charge, Mr. Zap, Mr. Shock, and Mr. Jolt. Probably pretty obvious they were all electrocuted with a broken heat pump. Since there wasn't an arrest, I can assume the killer is one of them. Wow, that sounds incredibly lame. What a straightforward mystery. Well, if the ranking criminals' limitations based on how fast they can imitate a crime, then yeah, sometimes they're probably gonna end up with a crappy mystery. One of the reasons that speed is a metric for ranking detectives and criminals makes no sense. He was completely right. That's man. I'm basically on my own over here. I'll do what I can from over here. Okay. Most interesting thing I discovered is a glass filled with hydrogen fluoride. It's obviously one of the murder weapons. However, there is another more obvious murder weapon, and it's invisible. Is it an invisible weapon then? It most certainly is. Gravity. It's an invisible force that can kill you. Who do you think was killed by gravity? Good question. Miss Waters and Mrs. Shallow. They both have broken bones, and yet they're both in the pool. Maybe the pool was drained. Mr. Shallow is in the shallow end of the pool. The shallow end is also where the ice is. I think I see what we were going to try to say, Millie. So, Mr. Shallow slipped and cracked his head on the spine and the ice, killing him. Makes sense. If the pool was filled with water, the ice would be really hard to see. Good point. You mentioned he was covered in blue blanket. I think may relate to what you're saying. What I was saying about how something being hard to see. What does he mean? Oh, duh. The blue blankets were to conceal the bodies while they were underwater. So, Mrs. Swims, I still haven't figured out what his deal is. I have an idea about it. You said the substance in the glass was actually hydrogen fluoride, not water, right? And did you know that when you combine hydrogen fluoride with water, it creates a type of acid, if I recall. Hydrofluoric acid. It's very corrosive. Yeah, so you see what I'm getting at. Mr. Swims was killed by putting hydrogen fluoride in the pool. Exactly. So 3 down, 1 to go. Miss Chlorine. She was poisoned, probably with a gas. Wait a minute, I think I know what the mystery is all about. Really? Yeah. Slipping on the ice, burning up in the water, poisoned by a gas. Main premise of the mystery seems to be these are all different states. Solid, liquid, gas. I think the mystery uses hydrogen fluoride as a weapon to kill almost every victim. Which makes the true nature of the ice is that it was really frozen hydrogen fluoride. But there was one victim the hydrogen fluoride didn't kill. Miss Waters. The one with the broken legs and skull.
I think that, like, on your side, one of the victims was really the killer, and Miss Waters fits the bill. She wasn't poisoned by the gas, it wasn't near the shallow end of the pool, and isn't red and black. She's by the diving board, which means she jumped off and killed herself with sheer gravity. She also doesn't have a blue blanket, which means it's likely that she was also the last to die. Further proof that she's the one who killed the others. Makes sense to me. Now all you have to do is explain how Miss Waters transformed the hydrogen fluoride from ice to liquid gas. Simple enough. The heat pump. Hydrogen fluoride was frozen into the shallow end of the pool while it was drained. The pool was filled with water. Mr. Shallow ended slipped, killing himself in an accident. A little coincidental for my taste, but it works. It was covered with a blue blanket to conceal the body. Using a heat pump, Mrs. Water melted the hydrogen fluoride into the pool. That's when Mr. Swim swam in it, probably killed him. Another blue blanket concealed his body. The heat pump continued to heat the water until it would evaporate into a gas, which killed Mrs. Chlorine. Miss Waters, the killer, locked the room, drained the pool completely, and jumped off the diving board, killing herself. I think that explains everything. I do too. Who created mystery? Alright, I almost forgot about it. Remember, everyone on my side was simply electrocuted. I basically had no fun in this mystery, just letting you know. Yeah, noted. Well, we have his character. It could be Carver. Okay. I think it's them. Was that a mistake? Yeah. Oh, I didn't mark him. Bleh. Bleh. Cover and see it back. Exactly, Millie. Exactly. I almost thought it was Bones for a second there. No, you didn't. You're just making conversation. Bo's question. I didn't get Bo's question. I didn't get anything interesting at all. Too bad for you. Okay, so the question is what made it easier for the killer? Okay, and the killer is Miss Waters. Well, the only other thing that stands out from her is the little hat she's wearing. Little hat? I don't think you measured that before. Yeah, it's a greyish and gold hat. Like the one Haney wears. Haney? I bet she did wear a hat like that. Well, if the killer worked for the hotel, that would make things easier. I think you got it, Millie. Now we can submit your deduction. Great. Submit. The solution you submitted was correct. However, you made too many errors. That would probably reflect badly on the other detectives. You think so? That's judgy of them. Great. Just great. I was supposed to investigate Tads now if 778 was going to be a top-ranked detective. Reverse, if I was eliminated thanks to this crazy new minus points idea. Nice going, Clark. How did I get too many wrong answers? Huh? Gravity. Miss Waters and Miss Shallow. He slipped. It makes an acid. States. Miss Waters. I only made one mistake. Come on. And it wasn't even actually a mistake. I just forgot to click. Thanks, Game Master. You're welcome, Detective. Great. Now let's get out of here. This pool smells terrible. Worse than clown makeup. Yeah. We walked back into the room next to the pool. I was pretty quiet now. Slakes was busy reading a romance novel. Mouse was concentrating on twiddling his thumbs. Hackett was asleep with his fedora over his eyes. Raoul was whispering something to Esther. Nell was sitting on the floor with her chin resting on her hands, bored but awake. Red July was leaning on a wall. Anna was leaning on the wall in the exact same way. The sight, like most things, made me want to go to sleep. We're in trouble. Why? The minus points. They're going to be bad for the top detectives. Why? Remember what Detective Everett said earlier? The longer we've stayed at the top, the more agitated the detectives at the bottom become. Obviously, if the top detectives were eliminated, then someone else will have a shot. With this bottom 17 team up against the bottom 3 pairs, that'll be enough to eliminate us all. During this voting period, there's going to be an invisible war between detectives. There's not a single detective in this room that won't be voting against either Ridgely, Salix, or me. Then they'll turn it around and vote positive points for whichever top detective they like the most. By the end, it will be a test to see which top detective is the more liked here, and which one is liked the least. If that's the case, we're not in any trouble at all. Salix is easily the most disliked of the top 3. His attitude really gets on people's nerves. Actually, that's not true. The most disliked of the top 3 isn't Salix. It's me. Oh my fucking god, that's an amazing name for a chapter, and also art. Chat, I need to reinstate. I've said this before, I love the fucking, like, James Bond-esque fucking title cards for each chapter. They're so good. Whoever made this did a fucking incredible job with the art direction. Whoever made this had an incredible job with the art direction. I fucking love it. Also, their colour usage is very strong. Chapter 28. Is his antics fault? He's not popular. Detective 781 and his partner Melly have solved the last mystery in Stage 2. However, because of a new rule in the rating system that lets detectives give out minus points to detectives they don't like, the top detectives are in danger. Excuse me? Who doesn't like clowns? I'm not a clown. What? But isn't that your whole thing? And the end result of an evolved family line of clowns. I'm of the clown idiots, detectives, June, Paul. What I mean is, who doesn't like you? Everyone. You're just deciding that. What about the 5th round vote? Do you come in 3rd, like always? I wasn't talking about now. I was talking about in the future. You see, during the course of this competition, I predict that everyone here will eventually hate me. Okay. Past arguments with 781 had tended to go in circles, so I just gave up. It's due to my eccentricities. For some reason, dancing and Oreo metaphors are a hate magnet. Well, let's pretend you're right. How will we keep people from rewarding you minus points? Easy. We use our golden tongues. But golden tongues are never effective without the gold. He reached into his sleeve and brought out a bunch of cash. This is from selling us out back in the questioning room. Ah, he was wondering what happened to that. Wait, you're gonna bribe them? It's the very best way to make fast friends. Well, the best way for your money to make friends. But it's quick and effective. Here. He handed me a portion of the cash. No. Why not? I'm not gonna walk around the room slipping people money and whispering vote for 781. It feels like I'm some kind of villain. A little morally grey, but a villain nonetheless. Why would you do that? Because you just said, no, that's stupid. They just take the money and give me a minus point. You show them the money and say it's yours to 781, makes it past this round. That way, they may even go so far as to recruit more people to ensure I win. Maybe people that would have had trouble convincing. Oop, thank you for the hydrate. 781's voice today, I don't know what it is about today. His voice in particular is hard for me to do today. Oh. Well, that's fine then. Bribery. I'm excited. Cool, I'm glad you're excited. Now go bribe some detectives. Helping me out helps you out too, Melly. He did have a point. I looked around the room for some detective pairs who looked like they would be easily bribed. Not Red July and thingy, they want to keep us in anyway. Nell will want to keep us in. Let's talk to Rat Boy and Mask the Mask. Detective White and Detective Porter. It's Detective Melly, right? Yeah. I've heard a lot about you, Melly. My winning bet is that you're going to do very well in this contest. Do you believe in yourself much, Melly? Well, let's put money on it. I think by the 4th round you'll be in first place. How about we put 50k on that one? No. You're so underconfident, Melly. You lack self-esteem. I'm telling you that I think you're so capable I'm willing to put 50k on your success. Yet you completely turn me down. What's going on? Oh look, there's a different kind of bat. I'm interested. This will catch yours if 781 gets 3rd place or higher in this round's rankings. But I don't want a poultry offering.
No, I'll take it. I want your poultry offering.
God.
What happens if he doesn't place 3rd or higher?
Nothing. You won't owe me anything. A little too good to be true. I was planning to vote against that guy, but suit yourself, Porter.
Is that so? I like 781. He understands how incredibly dull this profession is. He just goes off. Of course, it's only because he's not financially tied to the hard labor of detective work that he feels he is able to do so.
Why don't you find another job?
It's a good job. I just don't like it. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Whatever can make him go along with 781's harebrained scheme. 781 was tapping his foot and exercising his eyebrows when I returned. I convinced about 7 pairs, so we could expect at least 2 more to vote for me. Same as me, sort of. By the way, do I get a cut of this? Shh. The show is starting. Pointing to the screen in the upper right corner, where videos of detectives solving the mystery started to play. Thankfully, our video was short, though I suspected that if we got up voted, it wouldn't be for the length of our segment, but for all the carrots we dangled for the mules.
Here, I need your vote. This thing came out what looked like a garbage chute in the back.
He was holding a remote of some kind with 2 buttons. One with a plus, and one with a minus. And a rotating dial displaying various detective pairs. I decided to give him a bonus point to Red July. Probably would help out 781. Of course, this entire exercise was pointless, as the votes weren't really counted. But then again, we hadn't discussed minus points at all, so I didn't know if the others had something new up their sleeves. Just to be edgy and counterculture, I decided to vote for Detective Eastman. It was the first time Game Master had ever voted in the final round rankings, as far as I knew. Detective 781 grabbed the remote from me and entered his own votes. I peeked and saw that he voted for Nell, which was a little sad. The Game Masters could see which detective had the remote through the multiple cameras in order to identify who was voting against who. 781 passed the remote to Detective Asper, who'd just come out of the crime scene. This one was tough, but I managed it, with the help of my trusty assistant Slicks. Go swim in the poison pool, Asper. Just a friendly joke. He's so mean to Asper, but I also don't trust Asper. I think that guy's gonna be a rat bastard. He has rat bastard energy. He has rat bastard will immediately turn you into energy about him. The remote steadily made its way around the room, finally coming to a full circle when Detective Singer finished voting. Oh look, the rankings are going to be announced. I'm the clear favourite. Let's see who it's been. What? Detectives. The rankings are in. The top 3 detectives are Red July and Honor, Slicks and Asper, 781 and Melly. There were audible groans. In this time for the shake-up, the 6 detectives have been there from the start. Yeah. Be quiet, Eastman, you've been eliminated. I cannot help what the results show. I'm simply showing you what the top 3 are. You have nobody to be mad at but yourself for not doing better in the contest. Nothing but lies. This was so amazing. Amusing. Detective 781 breathed a sigh of relief. Then he did a dance. See? You were completely wrong about people hating you. I wasn't wrong. I never believed that for a second. You see, no, you must always be prepared for a terrible outcome. So I mentally prepared myself for failure. Good idea. I strongly suspected that 781 actually was in fact unpopular, if what I'd seen in the 5th round ranking was true. We couldn't let 781 go. He was entertainment. Guess it's the end for Detective Eastman. That detective named Bobo. Oh right, there was a detective named Bobo. We've been next to meet him at some point. Yeah.
Don't be so quick to forget me. The legend will live on.
Detective Eastman, you have been eliminated.
I know that. It was a hero sacrifice.
No.
You shall all remember this day because...
He launched into an incredibly strange diatribe that does not bear repeating, but it was certainly memorable to those who bothered to listen to him. I did not trigger train that moment. Goodbye, Detective Eastman. I like that guy. Yeah, me too. We're so cool right now, being all counterculture and stuff. Which reminds me of a splendid joke. I hope it's as splendid as you say. A dog walks into a bar, and when he pays for his drink, he says, "Put it on my bill." Heard it before. 781 paused to shoot me an irritated glance. He kept glaring at me until I reluctantly waved for him to continue. The duck glances around and notices the two men in 100-euro shooting cart wraps, so the duck takes out a gun and fires at the dice. The bartender says, "Oh my god, what's wrong with you?" And the duck says, "See, I can shoot craps with the best of them." That it? Needless to say, the duck gets thrown out of the bar. Later that day in the evening newspaper, a misspelled headline reads, "A duck shoots crap with hunters." Honestly, I never heard a less funny quote-unquote joke in my life. The moral of the joke is that to get the result you want, sometimes you need to go do something incredibly convoluted that nobody else understands. I see how the moral applies to the joke, but I don't see how it applies to what we were just talking about. And lastly, I don't think that joke was much of a joke. Guess you don't keep your funny coin sharpened because you have a dull sense of humour. Thankfully our announcement chime sounded, because I didn't have a witty response. Please make your way into the elevators, detectives. As soon as we found ourselves in the lobby, "We're here. I'll go grab my stuff from the room." He ran off on all fours. I tried to get off to those nearby. He returned with the 2 luggage bags soon after, and we waited until the crowd had thinned a bit. My guess is that some people had thought to pack anything before leaving for the hotel, and so I've been living off of what we had provided. Detective. Outside there is a line of taxis that we are provided to take you to the location of the 3rd stage. However, I'm not going to tell you where to go. You'll have to figure that out yourself. The answer describes you perfectly. I await your arrival. The speaker clicked off and the crowd of detectives headed for the doors. Oh, what? Where are we going? I feigned my ignorance. I'd been waiting for this moment the whole competition. I slammed my shoulder against the heavy lobby doors. They swung open reluctantly. A full blast of cold air hit me in the face. This is why I don't go outside. I remember how Henny checked the notes on my nuts to contest with a flashlight for some reason. No, I wasn't there. Oh, right. I assumed that it was to authenticate them. But the clue about something that describes you perfectly has me thinking. Good, he got it. Detective 781 took his name hashtag off and held it up to the sun. Inside was the phrase, Earnest Nation Artist. Simple. It's just an anagram. I have mine up too. Eastern Instant Ratio. Like I said before, I was very good with anagrams. So when I was coming up with what the clue would be hidden inside the name tags. Nearest train station, right? Right. He ripped up our tags and threw them in the air. Hey. Hey. It worked. I mean, I like that name tag a lot. We don't need them anymore, Millie. They've served their true purpose. A clue to stage 3. He jumped in a taxi. I had no choice but to follow him inside quickly. Hours of work lay sadly on the pavement. Take us to the nearest train station. We got one more chapter before we end it for the day. One more chapter before we end it for the day. So recap right now, just what's happened so far. They have not achieved much, to be fair. But we do have an infiltrator in Millie. That's kind of all that's changed. Not much. Millie's now working with 782. I think he's on 782. Now, because him and Nell cheated, so they separated them. We want Nell to stay in the competition, though, because I kind of like Nell. We're down to, like, only, from what I understand, we've shot down to, like, 20 detectives left? Roughly? And with 100 chapters of this game, and 200 characters, I'm curious to see... No, I think... Because the Steam page says 200 characters, 100 chapters. We're almost at 30. We're going to finish at 30, but not much has happened. The taxis left the hotel parking lot in a uniform line. Seemed like none of the detectives had an issue figuring out our clue. That was dramatic. 781 didn't comment. He stared out the taxi window. You could have just told me the solution, instead of ripping up with the tags. It would have been useful, maybe. What I was actually annoyed was that I had made those name hashtags by hand, carefully writing all 100 of them in printed letters, which is incredibly difficult for a person with my questionable penmanship. Every detective is made up of 4 things. 100%, 10% curiosity, 10% intellect, 10% intuition, and 70% ham. You can't resist the showmanship of a deduction. I don't know. I've seen some reserve detectives like Nell, Mouse. And so you highlight the fundamental problem with the competition. The sheer number of detectives. He was changing the subject again. Nobody knows every detective's name. I bet you can't even name the detective ranked 13th, can you? Actually, rhetorical question. Silence filled the air. The taxi TV started playing the clip show over again. The weather forecast predicted rainy days ahead. The detective ranked 13th at Brito and Day. I know. It was written on your wrist. You figured out my abbreviation code. It's not that hard. Right. Wait a minute. I thought you couldn't read. He didn't respond. We got out of the cab and walked up the steps to the train station. I told you. 782 is way smarter than people think. He also lies about things constantly. Constantly lying so that he can achieve what he needs to. There's a reason he's one of my favourite characters in this so far. Because he's a little shit, but everything he does has a purpose. Even though he's a little shit about it. Where the 3rd stage awaited us. Exciting! Murder train! Murder train! They have to do a murder train. In a detective, in a detective game that's like a homage to all the great detective books and stuff and games, you have to do a murder train. It would feel morally wrong not to do a murder train. Because one of the greatest mysteries ever written, obviously, is Murder on the Orient Express. And so it would feel morally wrong. Inside the station was a ticket booth, where Haney was stationed.
When you're all here, the game master will begin the announcement.
She was ripping random tickets and throwing them in the air to pass the time. I looked around. The other 5 top-ranked detectives were all with us in the station. Detective White was trying to avoid stepping on the floor by tying handkerchiefs to his feet. A very long train of rails stretched out to the mountains beyond. There were 8 sleeper cars hooked up to the train, as well as 4 dining cars and 4 lounge cars. The other detectives soon arrived. The game master, Kane, began her announcement. It appears that all the pairs were able to solve the clue and find their way to the train station. So I will begin. As you may have guessed, this stage will use this train as a mode of transport between rounds. The competition's going to be on a bit of a tour. The detectives readied themselves. For Detective Mouse, this meant polishing his glasses 15 times and pacing in a circle until he got dizzy. I wondered to myself whether he'll get sick on the train. This train has 4 sections. First class, second class, third class, and fourth class. Each class has 2 sleeper cars, a dining car, and a lounge car. The top 5 pairs are in first class, the next 5 are in second class, etc. We'll be on the rails from most of the stage going all over America, and the trip will be long. If any of you get motion sickness, you can either breathe through it or wimp out on us. Well, too bad for motion sick people. Lastly, please be aware that smoking is not allowed on the train. Now, you are free to board. The doors of the train opened. Detective pushed past me towards the train, eager to get aboard. If you're confused about which class you're in, look at the ranking chart at the ticket booth. Dividing people into various classes inside a train. Haven't heard of that one before. Neither have I. But I'm sure it won't produce any kind of tension whatsoever. You mean class tension, Nelly? Yeah, like that. True, I don't think it will. Though we'd had some extra rules in store for later stages that would help slower detectives. help give slower detectives an edge. The helpful intention was dampened somewhat by the fact that the rules really only existed to ease my conscience. While I was staring into space pondering this, 781 had already gotten on board. He held his hand up to me in a strange gesture. What's that? Made it up. It's a hand sign that means I'm ready. I hate to break it to you, but the universally accepted okay sign means exactly the same thing. Yeah, but it means okay. My hand sign means whatever. Who am I to argue? Do what you want. Some points aren't worth pressing, and besides, I'm going to be in a bad mood when I stepped on board a train for the first time. As soon as I stepped onto the red carpeted corridor, I knew I was going to have a blast. It called to mind every book I'd ever read about travel. I was excited to see what my room looked like. If the euphoric pinewood smell overpowers you, just remember that murder exists in every corner of the world. But don't let it get you down. Thanks for the great advice. Was that supposed to be comforting? I remembered how much Nell got annoyed with him. Maybe she'd been right all along. 781 slipped into his room. He pretended to slip and fall into it. How amusing. I entered my own room. It was pretty small. The bed had a plaque attached to it with the words Meli Malokai on it. The budget was getting bigger this stage. Upon entering your room, you may notice that we've given you a present to represent an aspect of your method as well as being extraordinarily useful. I picked up the present. It was a marker. As I thought, clicking the cap 3 times activated a mini radio receiver transmitter. The other game master had devised a way for me to communicate with them. Millie, can I borrow your present? Why, did you not get one? I will tell you soon. Well, anyone finding out about the present's spying capabilities? Just 2 seconds. Fine, alright. I quickly deactivated the radio function and handed the marker to him. Sounds of frantic scribbling came from his room. He quickly reappeared in my doorway. Here, he handed me the marker back. What do you do? I solved a problem. Problem the game masters have. What problem? Other than the spying and the picking favourites and the contradictory rules, how a criminal could possibly win the contest, I can't think of any problems. The cat spell 781. I stood in silence for a moment as this statement slowly sunk in before I realised what it meant. You mean the main pack in your room? Had my real name on it, not my pseudonym. Yeah. The game master knows my real name. Wait, that means Meli probably does also actually know his real name. Unless this goes higher than them and they don't know that they're also being part of a game by someone higher up than them. And that's what the number 5 is about. Because why would she be less surprised by that? The Watching Room, Part 6. The Game Masters know Detective 781's real name. It's time once again to look into these mysterious game runners. Third stage is here. I carefully flipped the wallpaper into the trash. Perfect 10 out of 10 shot. Yeah, third stage. Which reminds me, the trains have been boarding and cruising along, and nobody even knows where they're going or what the theme of the stage is. She pressed the intercom button. Clock shot me a look as I lowered the paper ball that I'd been about to throw. Even the smallest sound could distract Kane when she was making an announcement. It's time to announce the theme of the stage. The stage is called the Red Herring Mysteries. In each mystery, there will be at least one misleading clue. In order to submit the correct deduction, you will need to explain what makes the false clue trails false, and what the true trail. This is a tongue twister. What makes the false clue trails false and the true clue trails true. That is a tongue twister. I spot a tongue twister in the making. Yeah! There's no other important change with this stage. We won't be eliminating anyone. That's right. No matter how badly you do in the mystery, you won't be eliminated. We're also putting an end to your automatic partner swapping. We want you to take the time to get to know the other detectives in your class. I'll make your eventual elimination all the more dramatic. We'll arrive within 6 hours. So that's all. She switched off the intercom. Honestly, I didn't expect anyone to get along. You'd be surprised. Good teams form fast, before nobody cared about eliminations. Now they all kind of know each other. It's also where we start to see who will be making it to the final rounds. Second and third class are usually made up of boring detectives. It's the two extremes of fourth and first that are interesting. Some detectives don't deserve to be in fourth. Some don't deserve to be in first. Once this stage starts and the ranking goes back to time-based, we'll put everything in order. You see that one ranking the detectives showed out in our faces last round with their stupid votes? I think I would know who Tronin and Markel are. They sound pretty disposable to me, just based on their names. Let's start the criminal train now. Alright, there was a special train for the criminals. It was originally a circus train. It made it a little more appropriate for humans, but the smell of elephants, sustained. Speaking of getting things in motion, it's time we left this basement. Right, did you throw out those paper airplanes and paper clip slingshots and tape targets and matchbook cars made out of matchboxes and paper hand-woven baskets and origami swans and mice? What? No, I put those in the luggage. I thought so. Your entire suitcase is going to be a dumpster. That's my stuff. You can't do that. Every extra second I spend staring at your trash lessens my lifespan by 4%. You sure it doesn't also shorten your temper? She shot me an angry look. So I was right. Do we still need this betting chart? It's useless now. I took the chart and glanced at it. Huh. There's a chart from the first round of stage 1. It was tough to pick favourites based on just one mystery. As I expected, Red July had been in #1 pick, but she was the only famous detective in the competition, so who else would have we voted for? One of the pairs we'd chosen didn't make sense at all. At least from what I can remember about the performance in the competition. Come on, Greg. We're all packed and ready to leave. I helped drag the suitcases from the hidden passage that led to the basement. The hotel was very quiet now that everyone was gone. Since the second stage of the contest was over, the fifth would sell the hotel back to its original owner. Yeah, it's true, fourth class looks like an interesting lineup. Bottom two detectives look notably more like a team than the other detectives. Speaking of fourth class... Never mind. The other stages' predictions are often wild and inaccurate, since the game masters couldn't get a good sense of the detective's skills fast enough. But still, it didn't seem to make sense. One of our favourite detective pairs had been Ashdown and Woes? Who had voted for them? It had to be a majority. Once we got settled into our van, I needed to look up the footage of that first mystery. We assembled outside after determining that nobody was sleeping around. Fortunately, the fifth had joined us. We would be sharing the van.
That jumbled evening.
Clark began moving our luggage inside. Little did we know I'd sent my favourite game, Guess the Question, into his suitcase. The others had bored it, and had tried to ban me from playing. You drive, Kane. Me and Greg will set up the equipment as we go.
Hey, well.
Yep, guys, train's not getting any slower. Clark, do you remember there being anything special about Ashdown and Woes? Clark frowned as Cova snuck past him and tried to crawl inside a suitcase. Not really. And they used to be a detective partners like in real world, not in the contest. So we placed them together to see what would happen, and they had a good chemistry, and they did really badly mystery-wise. We forgot about it and paired them with other people. Why? Nothing. Okay. Wait, no. So do we think whoever Ashdown and Woes are did that deliberately because they were IRL detective partners? Do we think that maybe they are also trying to figure out competition things fast, or know something about why the competition is running? Because the way the Game Masters put it in the last Game Master time we saw, there's something suspicious, like there is a reason they're trying to find the best detectives. There is something that needs solving. And they need the best of the best. So I wonder if these two that they've just brought up now deliberately got themselves paired with someone else other than their actual real life partner, so that they could game the system. It's time to catch up to the train. Chapter 31, Inspecting the Detectives. The next round of the detective competition begins, with the ranks divided cleanly into distinct classes. Friction is inevitable. How are the 4th class detectives handling their place in the mysterious detective competition? Right. Saving, so that we can... Also removing my clown nose. Right, we're going to call it there for tonight, because chapter 30, the end of chapter 30 is a good place to end. It's a good round number for us to do next week, because I think I'm playing with the Spooky Girls tomorrow. So let's see who we can raid into. Things are getting interesting. There's stuff to mess about with here now. Oh, Jubis is still streaming. Let's raid Jubis. Jubis is still streaming. We'll raid Jubis. Okay, we're raiding Bunny Junie, my very, very good friend. My best friend, if I'm completely honest. Where she's playing gambling. She's playing gambling. So we'll go... I was going to go chill out with her anyway, so you guys can come with me to come hang out with Junie. Oh, have a good night, everyone. I've been Pigeon Wishes, your resident Pigeon Fae from the UK. And I'll see peeps tomorrow for Stardew Valley with the girls, I think. If not, we'll play more of this. Right, ta-ra everyone.